Welcome back to our first virtual Internships Showcase. If you're joining us for the first time, I promise you we have some very talented students coming up in this segment. We'll see presentations from students who interned at Scotiabank, CIBC Capital Markets, OP Trust, Polar Asset Management, and Kooltra. First up is Yingzhen Chen, who worked as an audit intern, Global Banking and Markets at Scotiabank. Please join me in welcoming Yingzhen to the stage for our first presentation in this segment.
Hello everyone, my name is Yingzhen and I'm going to share my internship experience in GBM auditing in Scotiabank. Considering audit, many of you may think about CPA or accounting. However, it is external audit, which is different from internal audit. So today I'm going to talk about what I have learned about internal audit and what I did during my internship. So first, let's look at what is internal audit. Internal audit is a key department in the organization that provides independent, objective assurance and effective challenge over the design and operation of the internal control, risk management, and governance process. Independent and objectives are two key characteristics of the audit department. It is independent because it is a separate function within the bank, and it doesn't have the operational responsibilities for the area audited, and it reports to the CEO and the board without reporting to the executive management team. And the audit department is objective because findings and reports should be influenced only by the evidence obtained and evaluated in accordance with the audit standards and impartial and unbiased attitude. Next, I'll talk about my role in auditing. Many of you may have heard about three-line defense framework. The audit department is the third-line defense as it provides reasonable assurance that the first and second-line defense are effectively managing and controlling risk. I've worked on many different tasks as our team is project-based. In general, they are mainly aligned with the followings. As part of auditing, we need to ensure that the teams are compliant with the laws, regulations, and internal policies. So I've analyzed the trading data and conducted tests to check if the reporting and trading process is in accordance with the policies. I've also ran a daily dashboard to make sure that the value at risk and stress testing results did not overrun. In addition to maintain accurate and timely financial reporting and data collection, I've completed tests on data reconciliation between different systems and reports. I've also developed an Asian option pricing benchmark model, which will provide prices to compare the result from the bank's pricing model in practice. I've worked on some tasks to identify potential risk and chance. For example, I went through many model validation report for a commodity derivative project to check if there is any missing section or unclear sections in the report, which may affect the effectiveness of the validation process. And finally, in conclusion, I really appreciate the opportunity for learning and development during my internship. And thank you for listening. I'm open to any question.
Thank you, Yingzhen. Yingzhen's supervisor was Stephanie Feng, and this is what she had to say. Cindy made a great contribution by automating processes, building dashboards, testing, and fixing scripts. Her Python and Excel skills will make her a valuable member of any modeling team. That's very nice. Now, for the audience, if you have any question, please use the raise hand button in the reactions tab. Turn on your camera and unmute your mic. We'll bring you on stage for your question. You can also use the chat, and then we'll read it for you. If there's, until there's any question in the audience, I have my own, which is, can you tell me about one thing you enjoyed when working in the audit team?
Yes, I would say it's the board exposure, because unlike other teams, they may have like a really specific task or a specific field they work on. The audit team will have a wider scope. Depends on the audit scope of different projects. We may need to deal with the different teams within the organization. So to understand what they did and how they did, and to check if the process is properly. So during the process, I will have the opportunity to learn about the different section within the bank. So I think it would help me to expand my exposure. It's really beneficial as a beginner in this financial industry.
That's great. Thank you very much. So maybe a few seconds to give a chance for the audience to ask a question. Another one. No, in that case, well, that's great. Thank you very, very much. Well done.
Thank you.
And now we move on to our next presenter, Diyang, who worked in the Alternative Solutions Group, Global Markets at CIBC Capital Markets. Please welcome Diyang.
Hello, everyone. Just share a screen. Yeah, so I work in CIBC Alternative Solutions Group. Excuse me. Our group is International Student Pay, and let's see what we did. So basically, what we are is we help the students to make payments, like tuitions, residence fees, through our own channel, and we help them to make arrangements that is faster than the wire transfer or Western Union, etc. With multiple paying lines, I'll say. It also includes Chinese Union Pays. So basically, we include all those major payment lines, and we made profit actually through not only the FX exchange, also we get commission fees from the students. And my main task in this job was to do several reports, not only the daily reports as well as monthly P&L reports. They are being sent to the higher management every day, and for the school P&L, we send them to the schools every month to make sure everything is consistent. Also, I developed a VBA code which will faster the monthly reports, which is actually quite significant by 70%. The time was reduced by 70%, which is great jump. And also I monitor the data from our transaction portal to do a data check, data cleaning, and to complete a daily P&L 3 times a day. Basically, my main part for the project was to do the automation for the monthly report. It was using the VBA, and I think I learned a great deal from the VBA script, even though it's different from any other fundamental script, but still it's helped me to learn that a great deal in the front desk office. And yeah, that's basically what I learned. And also, there's an important point that I want to point out from this. Since it's in sales trading, we are very strict with the timeline, time frame. I can't actually miss any I won't say minutes, but yeah, it is quite strict in even it's minutes late. My colleague will ask what is happening. So I learned that's in this kind of environment, so I have to be very strict to the time frame. Yeah, thank you so much. That's what I learned, and I really appreciate my manager Krenn and all other my colleagues from helping me. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you. Actually, you mentioned your supervisor at CIBC, Kanish Gupta. This is what he had to say. Diyang has been the champion in our group with respect to taking care of the data, ensuring the FX spreads are accurate. We have a high degree of confidence in the report he produces, which is viewed both by top management and by our clients. His strong Excel and VBA skills are helping with automation. He's eager to accept new tasks, keen to learn, and most importantly, he gets along well with his teammates. That's very nice. Thank you, Diyang. So I would like to invite the audience to ask a question. If you have one, please use the raise hand button in the reactions tab. Turn on your camera and unmute your mic. We'll bring you on stage to ask your question. You can also use the chat, and then we'll read it for you. My question to you, Diyang, is you mentioned timelines, but what other thing is something you have to pay most attention to?
So for the timeline, like besides the timeline, or it's
timeline,
yeah, besides timeline, I think it's probably come with a timeline. It's also like a strictness on the reports. Not only like the timeliness, also I have to be very accurate to the P&L. Yeah, like there's times that we met some I think it's a technical issue which gives a very weird P&L. And according to our rule, we should send out by 4:30, but I don't want to like mess up anything and send out, because other like financial groups have to use that data to calculate their I would say data or result, which will come to this transaction stage. And yeah, so I have to delay it a little bit, but in order to make sure every penny wasn't like sent out mistakenly, I have to like make it accurate. I think besides the time like frame, the accuracy or like the attention that must be paying to the details is like very crucial. Yeah.
Attention to detail. Okay, yeah. Good. That's great. Thank you very much. Very good presentation. Lucas Krenn, who was a quantitative data analyst at Polar Asset Management. Join me in welcoming Lucas Krenn.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lucas Krenn, and today I'm going to be speaking to you about the project that took up the majority of my time at Polar Asset Management Partners, and that is conditional random fields for bond quote parsing. So in the world of fixed income quotes, there really is no convention. Brokers tend to send whatever they feel like and in whatever order they feel like, and the quotes can be extremely messy. And so to the human eye, a quote can be a little bit obvious, especially if you know what you're looking for. But to a machine, this is a little bit more difficult. So for example, if we're looking at the first quote here, we have a ticker, which is fairly obvious. We have a coupon, which is fairly obvious. And we have a maturity, which is also fairly obvious. But then we run into this bid ask. And unless you sort of understand the context clues of sort of the asset class, you really don't know what this is a bid ask of. It could be a price, it could be a spread, it could be a G spread, it could be a Z spread. And so, like I said, you really sort of need the context clues to understand exactly what's going on. And so that was the problem that I was sort of tasked with solving, was come up with a way to sort of categorically organize and categorize sort of these quotes into a nice data set. And so I began the machine learning process of understanding the problem, gaining priors on the data, searching for potential models, prototyping the models, and then validating to make sure that I sort of understand exactly what's going on and the model is doing exactly what I want it to do. During sort of the model discovery process, I came across conditional random fields, and they're extremely powerful for two reasons. The first reason is that you can sort of use given labels to help you assist in the classification. And so we can sort of see exactly how that works here. So we match our ticker and our coupon using the headers that were given to us in sort of the quotes themselves. And then the second strength that CRFs have is these user-defined features. And so we can, if we know sort of the context clues that are required to parse these quotes, then we can sort of write them down and allow the model to also use these context clues to be able to classify exactly what these quote elements are. And so we can sort of see what the final product looks like at the bottom here. And in this case, we have a bid price and an ask price as opposed to just sort of a bid ask or a bid offer. And so just to sort of give an overview of exactly what the final product looked like, we have sort of I made a toy data set here where we have our headers. We have the quotes that came with those headers, and we sort of have it nicely categorized into the respective columns. And so I was happy to say that I really enjoyed the project. I thought that it was lots of fun. And I was sort of able to do the whole project from beginning to end. And so that's something that I was exceptionally proud of. Now I was also able to pass it on to sort of the data science team, and they'll be able to take what I've started and run with it by including more brokers, perhaps better feature engineering, and sort of categorizing sort of the quotes that we already have saved from earlier dates. So I just want to say thanks again. I think the experience was awesome, and I had a great time.
That's great. Thank you, Lucas. I certainly enjoyed listening to your experience there. So Lucas had two supervisors, Polar, Fraser Walker, and Joe Kai. This is what they had to say. Lucas had a positive attitude and personality. The fervor with which he approached his work impressed us. Thanks to his technical skills, he was able to apply different ways to find the theory behind the problems we asked him to solve. He's a great guy to work with. He's cooperative and he can delegate. With machine learning techniques growing on the buy side and his passion for hedge funds, it's easy to see how this experience will shape his career path. So that's very nice, Lucas. I would like to invite the audience to ask questions. If you have a question, use the raise hand button in the reactions tab, turn on your camera and unmute your mic. We'll bring you on stage for your question. You can also type your question in the chat and we'll read it for you. My question to you, Lucas, is what part of your time at Polar are you most proud of?
So naturally, because this was such a large undertaking, I'm of course proud of the project. But I think personally the part that I'm most proud of is sort of proving to myself that I can sort of take a task, turn it into sort of a problem that can be solved with machine learning, and then go through all of the steps from beginning to end, from model research to model creation to model validation, to sort of get a solution that's actionable and adds value to the company. So if I had to pick, it would probably be just sort of proving to myself that I can do this kind of work, and also proving that it's a lot of fun.
That's great. I'm sure it was. So thank you, Lucas. Thank you very much. Now we move to our next presenter, Tianyi Long, who had a very cool job working as a quantitative analyst at Kooltra. Join me in welcoming Tianyi.
Yep. I suppose everyone can see my slides here. Hi everyone. My name is Tianyi Long, and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And I will talk about my internship in Kooltra. First, let me talk about next slide, please. First, I'm talking about like the company I work in. Kooltra is a fintech company with the goal to transform capital markets, starting from foreign exchange. Institutional brokers and foreign exchange payment company use Kooltra to streamline operation across sales, tradings, settlements, compliance, and risk management. While from middle back office team to make data-driven decision with deep analysis, Kooltra's platform serves clients in many countries like Canada, Australia, UK, and from the US. In the future plan for Kooltra will have similar platform for cryptocurrencies, and we will deploy advanced machine learning techniques to help our clients make better decisions in the near future. Back to me, I work as a quantitative developer in the develop team for 4 months. I work in one of the 2 developer team, and everybody was very kind to me. We focus on daily maintenance of our application and deliver new features for our customers. Meanwhile, I help other senior developers to add new features like big project from our client's perspective. One of them is like we deploy auto detects whether the current account has enough level funds for trades, so that will reduce the credit risks for different accounts. And another thing is we can have a big payment of all the similar attributes through all the similar attributes for several trades, so that will reduce the payment time reduce the execution time for every trade significantly. Above all, like people in the Kooltra are really nice to me, especially my supervisor Brandon. I hope Brandon hears and he can hear me. And I had a great time there. Thank you for listening. That's all my showcase.
That's great. Thank you, Tianyi. And I have to say one thing. The supervisor was Brandon Shu, and makes me very happy that he is actually an MMF alumnus, and he's with us today. So I would like to invite Brandon to say a few words before we start Q&A.
Yeah, sure.
Hey everyone, how you doing? Putting me on the spot here. Yeah, no, it was an absolute pleasure having Tianyi. Oh, sorry, I have my camera off as well. It was an absolute pleasure having Tianyi on the team over the last 4 months. He did some amazing work, and it was nice to get to kind of talk from a more quantitative point of view with someone that was from the MMF program again. I just want to thank you for all your hard work, Tianyi.
Thank you.
Thank you both for bringing 2 generations of MMF onto one screen. That was very nice. Any questions from the audience? If you have a question, please use the raise hand button in the reactions tab. Turn on your camera and mute your mic. We'll bring you on stage for your question. You can also type your question in the chat and we'll read it for you. My question to you, Chen, is, did you learn something new in this internship?
Yeah, absolutely. From the developer perspective, the most thing I improve is my coding skills again. I get familiar with the Salesforce and AWS serverless system, and also get familiar with the foreign exchange market. This is very important for me, and get to know the daily routine of a developer, like what I should do and what we should deliver, and what we should take, like be a role in the whole company.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you.
So this wraps up our second segment. Thank you for joining us, and feel free to stay for the next segment or join us again later this afternoon. We'll take a short break now and resume with segment 3 at 12:05 p.m.